such a fine natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Such a fine natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight.
Jealousy, Heavenly Father, let it be. Apparently you're not over me, over my body. Hungry, hungry. Mama, mamma mia, I'm not getting any younger. I'ma disappear, I'ma dip undercover. I don't need nobody but me. I'ma disappear, I'ma dip, 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 dip. I dance better on my own. Tendency to constantly go for tragedies. If company isn't giving me what I need, I'm a runner, runner. Mama, mamma mia, I'm not getting any younger. I'ma disappear, I'ma dip undercover. I don't need nobody but me. I'ma disappear, I'ma dip, 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 dip. Da 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 da. I dance better on my own.
You kind of like this guy, but when you can't decide between the Filet-O-Fish or the Big Mac, and he says,
I'll get you both.
Thank you.
you definitely like this guy meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
Winter is here, and that means more calls about pipes bursting and other plumbing-related emergencies. Lowe's has all the tools you need, including Lennox. Get the new push-button quick-adjust pliers and the larger jaw pliers wrenches to get the job done faster. Also, don't forget to pick up a Lennox PVC tube cutter. It requires less pressure to cut pipe, so your work is easier. Shop Lowe'sForPros.com or use our app, then pick up curbside. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Selection varies by location, U.S. only.
Hey, Simone Biles, what exactly is the Biles?
Well, tonight I'll be eating pepperoni pizza with ranch.
Oh, I thought it was a gymnastics move.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
I wonder why.
I literally have no idea.
Order with Uber Eats tonight.
The success of Janet's meal prep business is keeping her from keeping up with customer appetites.
Paleo Prep Meals, this is Janet. Yep, you just reheat, but we actually have a wait list currently. Oh, can you hold on one sec?
She needs to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Thought that I was going crazy, just having one of those days, yeah. Didn't know what to do then there was you. And everything went from wrong to right. All the stars came out and filled the night. Music they were playing really blew my mind. It was love at first. It was love at first sight. Tired of running out of love, thinking about giving up, and didn't know what to do. Then it was you, and everything went from wrong to right. All the stars came out and filled the night. Music they were playing really blew my mind. It was love at first. It was love at first sight. music they were playing really blew my mind. It was love at first. It was love at first sight.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, we're going to get started in 2 seconds. I just want to finish this song, okay? The ink, bro? No, the ink. I'll tell you what. You could find me on some old YouTube videos, I'm sure, and you could see the ink. I'll give you a hint. If you look at some World Dumbest Criminals video, you'll see this tattoo right there on it. So we'll let's jump into it. And no, I wasn't the world's dumbest criminal. So we'll jump into it. Let's do it. Real quick, welcome to the stream. Welcome. I know we're maxed it out, so I'm on YouTube as well. I'm gonna try and keep up with both chats. Real quick, we're going to do a recap of some of the stuff that happened last week, and then we're going to jump into what I'm looking at for this week. So hopefully everyone's been in the calendar. We should, bear with me. Bam. Okay. Hopefully everyone's been into the calendar, and you know that the only thing really going on this week is FOMC. All right. Which is Wednesday. It should give us a decent, a decent move on US dollar pairs, euro pairs, everything that the dollar moves off of. Okay. And if my screen's black, my bad. I've got like my dark mode that I've been screwing around with on this. So, but yeah. So FOMC is the only thing I'm looking at really, which is tomorrow. There is some Australia news that came out at 7:30. Or actually, it's coming out at 7:30. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. All right. With that being said, let's get into it. If you guys have some things that you want me to look at, I'll open it up. If if I'm looking at the same thing, we can definitely talk about it. If it's something that I have no top-down analysis on, we'll look at it, see if it jives. But I really, I kind of want to stick to what I'm personally looking at. But we'll go from there. All right. Recapping last week. So last Tuesday, we actually got some really good price action, actually an awesome schematic in UCAD, right? So if we go back here, shout out to whoever caught this move. There was 2 opportunities. All right. And just from a top-down analysis, everyone should be thinking UCAD for sells, right? UCAD all the way for sells. We've been literally just selling off since probably the beginning of the year. All right. And one of the things that I really want you guys to pay attention to is the legs, right? Pay attention to what's going on in the legs. From a 4-hour point of view, I know a lot of people were probably thinking that well, hold on. We're going to change that color because I'm in night mode. We're going to go to blue. All right. So I know a lot of people were thinking, all right, we made a low, we made another low. So this is the high. We broke structure. So this has to maintain bullishness. And look what happened, right? It's because you're looking at it from a, or let me tell you how I'm looking at it, right? I'm looking at it from a leg perspective. All right. And if we just look at it like this, all right. So if this was a low and we made another low here, this was that high, this was that expansionary leg. All right. And if we went ahead and made a new low, that means that this was the high. So if we were looking for some bullishness, what I would have needed price to break above here. Okay. It didn't do that. All right. And ultimately, when we created this first low here, we really didn't have enough of a pullback. We just made another low. So this is all just one leg for me. All right. Obviously, this is a bigger pullback. So this is now the next leg, looking for something like this continuation. And we just keep working it down. All right. I know also a lot of you guys that are getting into Wyckoff, you're looking at potentially an accumulation schematic starting in here. Right. And I don't say that's not the case. I just think it's very premature yet, especially off the daily and the 4-hour time frame. Okay. And if you know me, one of the things I'm always going to ask, if you want me to critique like a schematic, if you want me to look at something that you've got a point of interest on, I'm always going to ask you this. All right. If this is the schematic, what is to the left? Right? What are we essentially going to mitigate out of, or what did we mitigate out of in order to take this higher? All right. Because that's how these schematics work. It's an attempt to mitigate out of buy to sells, sells to buys. All right. Institutional candles. From a daily perspective, I'll tell you right now, the only thing I was looking at is this area of demand, right? This demand zone, which is also an accumulation schematic. All right. This right here is where I'm looking, this daily candle. It's untested. I want to see price come into it. And that's probably where we're going to get a reaction on UCAD to get a decent move back up to get some higher prices. All right. So just fast forward to where price is at last week on Monday. And again, we did a call Tuesday. So everyone, had the opportunity to get into this position. But if we go and just play it off of our point of interest, right? And in my case, my point of interest was the 8-hour, right? 8-hour and the 4-hour. Let it, come on, do your thing, Bubba. Come on. There we go. All right. So what I'm looking at, right? This is why this was the point of interest for me, right? Obviously, this is an obvious institutional candle. All right. What did it do? Well, it grabbed some liquidity out of here. All right. It also mitigated into this last H4 candle. All right. And then obviously it broke and made a new low. So I wanted to see price if we can trade back into it. You can see 50% is sitting right here. The H8, which is literally just these two candles here, had a lower 50% mark. Again, all I'm doing I'm just looking those as points of interest. I'm not going to be taking an order limit with like a 15 pip stop on UCAD. All right. I'm not going to have these crazy big stop losses anymore. And if you guys know how I trade, you know that, yeah, that's never going to happen again. I don't take those big stop losses. So fast forward to what we were looking at as far as a entry or potential entry. We come into the 1 minute time frame. All right. And price actually gave us a really nice schematic. All right. Coming in, we're going to play it out here. Here, we'll get up there to save some time. Hold on. Bam. Okay. So real quick, give you guys just a little bit of a lesson. There's a lot of schematics, right? There's, oh, come on. There we go. There's a lot of schematics, right? On the distribution side, there's actually 7 of them. All right. Learn 1 or 2 of them. In my opinion, learn the top 2, type 1 and type 2. and then focus on the other ones. I'll tell you right now, you really don't need to go crazy learning all the different types of schematics because some of them are just not worth getting into an entry. All right. But from this point of view, we were looking at a distribution, right? We had 1, 2, 3 drives. We never broke structure. We finally got a 4th drive. On this 4th drive, if we're looking at structure, this was the previous high. That means this is the low. This is what's maintaining structure. On this break of structure, ultimately, I was looking at this candle here. This wick ultimately mitigated the previous institutional candle. All right. And I took 50% of that 3-minute. All right. The 3-minute, you could have taken the 4-minute, you could have taken the 5-minute. It doesn't matter. They were all pretty much within a couple of pipettes. All right. And the order itself, right? The order itself was something along the lines of off the 50%, stop loss just below that wick right there, because that was the last mitigation. So it was about a 2.1 pip stop. And where are we taking this bad boy to, right? Well, if we're up here, right, I'm taking it down to a new H4 low. So around 26,200. All right. 26,200 is where I'm going to be taking it to because it makes sense. We're making lower highs, lower lows on the H4. Why wouldn't I take it there? All right. So we come over here, we throw it in at 26,200. All right. And you'll see that this is a 1 to, what is it, 83? Yeah, this is a 1 to 83. All right. So we'll play it out, see how she comes in, and poof, there it is. At this point, we're at break even. All right. We just made a new low. We're at break even. This trade is protected. From there, what caused our new break of structure, right? What makes you feel comfortable taking 50% of the small time frames? Because I journal every single trade I take, and it's just something that I've realized that price likes 50%. So I take 50% on some. It depends on the candle. Like I'll tell you right now, always look at lower time frame below what the price that you're looking at, and just see if there's some imbalance. You have to sell yourself on the reason why price is going to go to that 50%. So in this case, if you go back and back test this 3-minute, go on the 1-minute, you'll see there was some 1-minute imbalance there. Okay. So let me just see if I can pick a different color. Let me see if green works. Hold on. Is green better? I've got these funky like neon colors. You know what? Is this better? All right, that blue's better. Okay, we'll do this blue. Okay, so we're at break even on this position here. Okay, my next position that I'm looking at is we just made a new low. So I understand that this is the area I want to target. All right. We have 2 areas of focus that I'm personally looking at. This is the 3-minute SC candle. I call it my slingshot candle. It's the candle that it pulled back and gave that break of structure. And then I had a 1-minute extreme up here. So what I did was I split my risk. I took a position off of this 3-minute and I had a position up here off the 1-minute. And it ultimately looked like this. All right. It looked something like this. So stop just above that wick. If this got clapped, I was going to take it off the other one up here. And same targets, right? 126,200. All right. So you can see this is a 1 to 64. All right. So these are the 2 trades we were looking at. I personally didn't take the first one because I was sound asleep. This happened during London, right around 4:48 a.m. in the morning. But I was up for New York when I saw this one. And this is the one I took. Bam. We activated off the 3-minute. And from there, it was just off to the races she went. All right. From there, you can see price ended up hitting our take profit. Okay. So on both orders, they were both active, really nice moves. I know the guys that I trade with, a lot of them caught these 2 moves. It took a total of, I think, 4 days from the very first one. All right. So it took a total of, hold on. Actually, it took a little less. It took only 2 days and 5 hours. But yeah, it was a really nice move, really good R to R. And it was a Monday. So I'll tell you right now, I only took 3 setups last week. I took this one right here. And while we're on this, I'm going to talk about what I'm seeing now, right? If you guys were on the Sunday call that Sam and I did, I talked about UCAD, right? I talked about some more sells. I wanted us to ultimately come back into this H1 candle right here. All right. I wanted us to get into this H1 candle. All right. The reason I wanted to get into that H1 candle is because if we go back into it, you're going to find that that H1 candle is that prior last point of supply. It was also this 5-minute candle right here, right? So inside of that H1, we had it. We also had what? We had a reason. If price needed to fill some more orders, we had these equal highs sitting right here. We also had triple eyes sitting right over here. All right. Oh, my bad. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Just bear with me one sec. I need to close out at something. There we go. Bam. All right, there we go. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Anyway, you could see we had these triple highs sitting right up here. So there's a reason for price to come back and trigger into this. All right. I know a lot of guys that took it simply off that 5-minute. I was sleeping, so I wasn't going to watch price action. So, the move for me was all day long, 50% of this 1 hour candle. That's where 50% came in, stopped just above the wick. This was a 5.8 pip stop. And that's what New York session did today. All right. So really good profits on it. I think if you took it off the 50% of the 1 hour, you're at a 1 to 15. If you took it off anything lower, you're doing even better than that. All right. At what point do you set the limit as opposed to waiting for another schematic? So I will tell you this, because this, even if you go back to it, right, that was the last 5-minute candle that needed mitigation. Everything above it was properly mitigated. It was a proper distribution out of a schematic. So at that point, if price did break above my stop loss here, it would have violated every part of structure that I was looking to maintain for price to keep going down. All right. So I will set a limit at something like that. All right. At any of the extreme mitigation points, anything I label as an MC candle, an extreme mitigation, I will always set a limit, because if price claps me out, we're going the other way. It's not going to maintain the same order flow and structure that we were going off of. All right. So yeah, in this case, the limit was warranted. All right. In the 30-minute at the top is a point of interest that has not been mitigated. Do you think is going to mitigate or stay going down? Yeah. We'll get to that right now. So, yeah, obviously we're in profits. I told all of my folks that I'm trading with to go ahead and take some profits during the end of New York session in here, right? And the reason is, I don't know if you guys are looking at it, but we do have a schematic. All right. We do have a schematic printing. So if we come over here to the 15, actually, let's go to the 30. So if you come over to the 30, right, we do have, right, we have our 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drives. Okay. And I'm actually looking inside of this 30-minute candle. So this is an example of if price, right, if price, and what I want price to do is take out our trading range, because our buying climax into our automatic rally is going to define our trading range. I want us to give that sign of weakness. So if we trade outside of it, it's going to confirm the type 2 schematic for me out of this. And I will definitely be looking for sells from here. If we do not trade outside of this trading range, we do have the potential to create a UTAD. Okay. I don't want to take a UTAD, because if we take the UTAD, we're going to probably go above this price action to the left. Okay. So just kind of putting the agendas together of what the institutions are going to be doing here. I'm looking at 50% of the 30-minute candle is sitting here. Then if you go back and you look at the 25-minute candle, you'll see that we have this 25-minute candle with imbalance underneath it. 50% of that 25-minute candle is also the 5-minute candle. Okay. So these are all going to be points of interest for me. All right. There's way too many points of interest for me to set a limit order. So what I require in this instance is right here. I require a good old distribution to come up here, give me a nice schematic so I can take an entry. Not only that, but I mean, we're talking maybe like a 10 to 12 pip stop loss. If we go off of that, that's a no bueno for me. All right. I don't like those big stop losses. So if I can catch UCAD, just like we did in the past, anytime UCAD comes into the extremes, they are showing a schematic. Okay. So that's what I want to see. All right. Will you wait for distro? Yeah. I am going to wait for distro. Absolutely. And on this instance, yeah, I'm going to wait for distro, just because, Yeah, just because there's too many points of interest, right? Like, we could honestly go off of the 50% here. And if that's the case, I want to see the distro in here. Okay. So that's what I got on UCAD. All right. And then obviously, what are my targets? Well, my targets are a new H4 low, right? I just want to keep working entries down. And ultimately, I want to take it right here to this daily candle, because this daily candle is probably where I want to work a hedge. All right. This is where I want to get into the, hold some volume into this. And if we can get a really low time frame schematic here, get into the buy. Once we make a new higher high, I'll be at break even on the buy. I could close out of the remaining volume out of this. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Any questions on UCAD? Nope. Good. Fantastic. All right. So UCAD is, yes, it is. It's starting to compress really nice. You got it, Patrick. You got it, man. It's starting to compress really nicely. So it's telling us that something is coming afoot, right? That we are going to get something. I just don't think we're there yet. I think we got one more pass. And if we're looking at it from a schematic point of view, I just marked this up real quick, right? If we're looking at this from a schematic point of view, I see it like this. Okay. I see this as our first change of character. Okay. So this is our selling climax to our automatic rally. I see this as a secondary test. I see this as another secondary test. Okay. If price creates a spring, right, and takes out all of this stuff here, I would need price to break above here. This would confirm this as our secondary test in phase B. This is our spring. Okay. This spring, if we do take it down into that daily candle, which is right around here, 25,400, that would be the catalyst for us doing that. All right. If we exit the trading range, we might get a UTAD, you said. A UTAD, if we exit the trading range. You're talking about on the daily right here? Like if we exit here? Yeah, that's not a UTAD though. That would be just a sign of strength. So if we're not going to get the spring, right? If we're not going to get the spring, then we would be exiting the trading range, break a structure. That's going to confirm a type 2 off of this. And this would be the STB would be looking for an LPS entry here to take it higher. Okay. But like I said, it makes no sense for us to accumulate from here. It makes more sense for us to trade into that daily candle, create a spring, break structure, test of the spring here, and then we just work order flow up, right? This would be the LPS and so forth. Okay. That's how I'm looking at it. Do you see the monthly sell to buy, which we are about to play into, which is why it may be compressing? Yep. I see the monthly buy to sell. The only thing is this, I don't look at just the candle. All right. What happened in that candle? All right. I can, if this is one little thing I'll tell everybody is go back and look, at what happened in this daily candle. All right. And you'll understand why I know it's a supply zone. Okay. I'm sorry. It's a demand zone, right? If you come over here, just go to the 1 hour. You don't even need to go to low time frame. All right. Just come here to the 1 hour and you should be able to see it. All right. We have demand sitting in here, right? 1, 2, 3, exit the trading range, right? LPS. Okay. We have a valid schematic. We understand buyers came into the market, plenty of demand. This is why we have to come into this. Okay. That's the only place that they're going to come into. All right. And we go from there. Can you show us how your candle color settings, please? My candle color? Yeah, it's just black and white. That's all. Here. It's just black and white symbol. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to see because I got the dark mode on, but it's just black and white. I don't like colors on it just because, so I read a bunch of books and the colors really affect you psychologically. So to do a full top-down analysis on a pair, not very long. I mean, from a monthly down. So when I do a top down, I only go to an H4 as the lowest. And then that's how I identify the points of interest. And after that, then it's just, finding what I want to play off of, if there's a schematic that I need, or if there's another candle that plays into it, but not very long. I mean, maybe 15 minutes the most. Sometimes I can get in and out in 10 minutes. So I've been trading for 2.5 years. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's UCAD. Now let's go to UJ, right? UJ. So UJ, same thing, right? I don't get fooled by these, relevant breaks of structure. And what I mean by that, if you go to the daily, right? I know a lot of people, we had a low, right? We had a low, we made a new low, and then this happened. So people are thinking this was the break of structure right here. Okay. Not a break of structure. For me, not a break of structure. Same thing like UCAD, right? If we look at and you can see all the way up here, that was a leg. We came down. All right. We made a new leg. All right. Made a new leg. Made a new leg. All right. In order for us to be bullish, I need a break above this. Okay. This is all like internal structure stuff. I want to see us break that leg. All right. So for me, I wasn't looking for any buys yet on UJ. All right. What we did get in a really nice point of interest. So what we did get was, and you can see I'm just kind of working entries down. We do have this sitting right here on the 15-minute. All right. Some books that I recommend for trading, especially like on Wyckoff, I would really start with the Ruben Villahermosa book, Wyckoff Methodologies. I would also get into some of Jesse Livermore stuff. He did a lot of books on Richard Wyckoff and understanding schematics, understanding supply and demand, understanding, the whole idea and concept behind why schematics are printed. So I definitely would dive into that. All right. How far into your trading career did you have a breakthrough? Well, I'll tell you this. So just to give you an idea, I know a lot of people have known me probably for a good part of 2 years, right? What I would, I'll tell you this. So I was a profitable trader, trading just break and retest. Okay. Without making any claims or anything, I made really good money trading break and retest. But I hustled. I worked a lot, right? I took a lot of trades, put a lot of risk on the table. All right. I was risking 2% per trade. I would tell you that in February of 2020 is when I really started to learn Wyckoff theory. So going on almost a year, I've been doing Wyckoff theory. And, I don't consider myself, an expert at it. I learn something new every day on it. It's Jesse Livermore. Yeah, Livermore is the name. But I will say that I put the time in. I put the time in to understand Wyckoff. I've put the time into understanding what the schematics are showing me, what's happening inside of that box. And that's translated into some pretty good trades. All right. Especially those that trade with me and see the, the charts that I'm throwing. There's some ridiculous R to Rs. Okay. When you make sure you're in a discounted premium area, what time frame do you base that off of? So just to give you, I'll just answer this. So my analysis, when you see a 1 minute, 5 minute chart entry, that analysis was done off a weekly, daily, or 4-hour time frame. All right. All of my time frames, all of my analysis are done on a higher time frame. I just refine the entry by going down to a lower time frame to find something. Okay. So for a leg, you mark the low and high. Backwards. Yeah. And not so much the highs and lows. Look at it from an expansionary to a pullback move, right? Look at it from that perspective. That's what I'll tell you. UCAD broke the low. Yeah. I saw that. The second, Jesse Livermore. Yeah. U30. I already know. H4. Yes, it is. It's showing distribution. We'll go over U30. My main POIs. I'll tell you, my main POIs are going to be a daily, a weekly, an H4, an H1. Most of the time it's not even an H1. It might be something bigger, but if the H1 is inside of an H4, even better. Okay. Jesse Livermore, it's like there's 3 books. They're all good that he does on Richard Wyckoff. All right. Do I counter trend? No, I don't counter trend. I don't counter trend. And if you want, I'll, so I did this the other week, and let me just put it to this perspective right here real quick for anybody new and for people paying attention. What was the author and book again on Wyckoff? Right. All right. So Ruben Villahermosa. If you go on Amazon, it's like $20. Ruben Villahermosa. It's called Wyckoff Methodologies. And then and then Jesse Livermore on a bunch of Wyckoff books. So he's got 3. Okay. So let me talk to you about counter trend trading and pro trend trading. All right. Let's just say EU. Okay. EU is doing this. Okay. And we know it's bullish, right? But let's say you see distribution here and you catch the distribution from here and you trade it down to a perfect thing here. All right. And you catch a 1 to 5. And I'm just going to use arbitrary numbers, right? And then you catch this distribution and you catch a 1 to 5. Okay. And you take it to here. And then you do the same thing here and you catch a 1 to 5 and you take it to here. Perfect entries, in and out, right? In and out. And now if you can hedge, great for you. All right. I mean, I'm a pretty good hedger, but I still don't get it perfect. All right. So at the very most right here, what you've got is you've got a 4 to 20, right? Got a 4 to 20. But instead of using up your margin on these small little trades, because I don't know how you guys do it, but for me, my margin gets used when I'm taking, because I'm holding some of these trades for a while. All right. And my margin's getting used up. So I have to be very cognizant of the trades I'm taking. But what if you just go pro trend, right? What if you caught this buy, this accumulation here, took it up? This was a 1 to 10, right? And then this one was a 1 to 10. And then this one was a 1 to 10. And then this one was a 1 to 10, right? Just look at the impact you could have had. But truly, that's not a 1 to 10, because if you're doing it the right way, and I'll show you, right? This is actually a 1 to 40, because you're taking it up to the top, to the high of an H4 or daily candle. And then this one's a 1 to 30. And then this one's a 1 to 20. This is your 1 to 10. All right. Those of you that have seen like my CJ from November and December, you know exactly how this plays out, right? So what ultimately do we end up getting here, right? What do we end up getting here? Well, we get a 4, right? A 4 to 70, 80, 90, 100. You get a 4 to 100 as opposed to the 4 to 20 that you were counter trend trading and using up margin for. All right. So yeah, I don't counter trend. If I counter trend, it's because I'm hedging it and I'm protecting the buy or I'm protecting the sell. But yeah, I don't really do a lot of counter trend trading anymore. I caution. Well, I'll tell you this. I challenge everybody that does a lot of counter trend trades. Go back into your journal, and I have a column that I check whether it was a pro trend or a counter trend move, and then just quantify that. Look at what your average risk to reward was on a counter trend and your average risk to reward on a pro trend. I can tell you right now, my average risk to reward on a pro trend is a 1 to 18 is my average pro trend trade. My average counter trend is a 1 to 3. All right. So I don't even waste my time anymore at these. Okay. But go back into your journal. And if you're not tabulating that, I definitely challenge you to do it, because you're going to learn a lot about yourself in your trading. And not only that, but just think of how many times you're counter trend trading, how much time takes up in managing that trade, how much time takes up in, maneuvering into the position and all that. I mean, that's just a lot of time when you can just sit back and wait for the pro trend. Okay. Let me open, let's see, what is this? Oh yeah, gotcha. Do I think UJ will come to 104.02? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So on UJ, right? So here's what I'm looking on UJ, right? We got a nice distro going. All right. I don't think it's coming to 104.02, because if it does, it's going to violate my bias. All right. We do have a valid distribution here. It's a type 1. Okay. We do have a valid type 1. We did get a UTAD. We did break. I was waiting for us to actually trade below this, because on the line chart, we didn't actually break structure until this price action in here. All right. So now from a leg perspective, this is my leg. So I'm still fully fine if price does come up and trade into this last point here for the test of our UTAD, because we have been untested. Price hasn't come up there. All right. So what I'm personally looking at is off the 4-minute, because the 4-minute just has a fantastic candle. And this is the 4-minute candle I'm looking to play off of right here. Okay. 4-minute candle. Stop for me is just going to be, because of this candle here, we traded beyond 50%. My stop is going to be above this wick right here. And that's it. So that's where I'm looking. Some of the guys on the team are going to take it just a little higher. They're going to be at like 93.5, because there's a 1-minute candle that has a, has a wick that you can play off of. But just go into this price action. You'll see it. Okay. You'll see it. Do you think what a high probable POI is within a range? Okay. How do you determine what a high okay. So how do I determine the high probable point of interest? I'll tell you right now, just look at what the candle accomplished, cause and effect. Think about cause and effect, and Really start to train your eye to see what are these candles doing? Is it responsible for a new high, new low, or a break of structure? Is the leg, where's the extreme part of that leg that created the new high, new low, or the expansionary move, right? Think about that, all right? And just look at it. How many trades do I take a week? Last week I took 3. Sometimes I'll tell you, I never take more than 10. I can tell you that. But yeah, so I'm looking at this 4-minute candle. All right. It's a 3.5 pip stop. And I'm going to be targeting, me personally, I'm targeting a new H4 low, right? I'm going to be going, if you look on the 1 hour, right? I'm looking to target down here. Okay. Because we're just following structure. Right. And this will be a 1 to 39. All right. It's nothing crazy, but it's still a 1 to 39. All right. What time frame do I wait for the break of structure? If I'm trading a schematic, the time frame I'm trading the schematic on. What do I do if the schematic starts printing before, just slightly below the point of interest? I got to find a point of interest that it's going to play off of. If it's not in a point of interest, I don't play it. It's got to be, for me, there has to be a point of interest. So find a different time frame. Play around with the time frames. You'll see I got a 25, I got a 20, I've got a 30-minute, I got a 45, I've got a 7, I've got a 9. Just play around with it. Okay. My target, yeah, I cover the targets. New H4 low. All right. New H4 low is where I'm going. GA. Yeah, we'll look at GA exactly. Could you show things you look for inside of an H1 POI that gives you the sign to use a 1-minute candle in that price action? Can I show? Yeah, I mean, when we get to it, I'll go through something. Regarding legs. Yeah, here. UJ is a great one. Just go to UJ on the daily time frame. All right. And so on UJ, from this perspective, right? And again, we're coming for something in here, right? They're coming to mitigate out of something in here, but just look at the legs, right? So we have this to this, right? That's one leg. To this, to this, to this, and then this is all one leg. Okay. This is all one leg. These are your legs. All right. This isn't a break of structure for me. Okay. All this was just a pullback. This is actually now going to be a really good point of interest if it does in fact create the new low. Okay. Would UJ be a trade that you would? Yeah. I already have a limit on UJ. It's been there all morning. Okay. The reason I asked that, I was looking at UCAD too, but I had too much lower point of interest in the range of the markets, completely ignored it and played off of the 1 hour. So my question is, what was in that candle off of? All right, I'm trying to think. Off of the 1 hour? Okay, yeah. Off UCAD? Hold on. Or are you talking about UJ? I'm guessing on UCAD. Yeah. So the question, hold on. The question about UCAD, why was the 1 hour so important? So if we go, just go and back test, right? So this is our 1 hour candle right here, right? So the 1 hour candle is between 2777 and 2787, right? But if we go back here in the lower time frame, right, just go to the 5-minute, okay? And we can see how price, and this is the 5-minute candle right here. So that 1 hour candle is sitting right here in between 77 and 87, right? This is this 1 hour candle. We had a proper distribution. We had a proper mitigation out of here. This was that last area. This 5-minute candle is specifically what I was looking at. The 1 hour candle is inside of that 5-minute candle. The 50%, I don't know if you could see it, but the 50% of the H1 candle is right here. So the 5-minute candle didn't get tapped, right? It didn't get tapped, but we had equal highs and equal highs sitting here. So that's why it was a very high probable POI for me, was that 50% of the H1. All right. How many pairs do I look at? I look at everything. I don't limit myself to anything. If it's tradable, I'll do it. I do stocks. I do everything. It's just, I only take the best looking trades. So I might have 10, 12, 15 pairs I'm looking at on my watch list every week, but I might only take 1 or 2 setups. Do I have specific rules for validating structure from a daily perspective? For validating structure? Yeah. I mean, it's just got to be with structure. I mean, yes, structure is key. I'll tell you right now, structure is the be all end all for everything. If you are having trouble with structure, yeah, you might need, I'll tell you right now, you need to reevaluate how you're looking at it. I can tell you, I learned structure wrong. When I first started trading, it's not the highs and lows. All right. It's not the highs and lows. It's follow the legs. All right. Follow the legs. Have I ever thought about doing a course? I mean, I've done like little miniature boot camps, but I really don't want to do like a full on course. That's a lot of time commitment on my side, and I'm good. Could you take a look at gold later and explain what the fuss has been? Yeah, I'll take a look at gold. Can I use fibs to help me with the legs? Yeah, you can. You can. You can. Is there any reason that it won't be valid break of essentially closed below previous low? Is there a reason why that won't be a valid break of structure since we closed below the previous low? All right, you're gonna have to on UJ. On what time frame? On UJ. On the daily. Okay, so you're asking, is there a reason why that won't be a valid break of structure? You're talking about this right here? Is that what you're talking about? Because for me, that's not the leg. This is nothing. This is not worth anything for me, right? Structure is being maintained up here. Just because this makes a new low doesn't mean anything, right? Let me put it like this, and maybe this will make sense. Okay. Let's draw it out like this. And I know I'm going to exaggerate it, but let's just look at it, right? So hold on. Actually, hold on. I did it too big. Hold on. Let's just see. All right. So let me ask you this real quick. And I just want everyone to kind of give me their opinion on this. Currently, what we see here, doesn't matter what time frame. All right. Current structure, are we bearish or are we bullish? Absolutely. Good. So we're good. Everyone understands that. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. I know a lot of people, because they would have been like, well, no, look, this is all internal structure, right? This is all internal structure. Okay. So with UJ, right? With UJ, let me get back up to this. For me, this is all internal. This is all internal. This is the structure that is maintaining bearishness. Okay. This is what's maintaining bearishness for me up here. Okay. How would you use fibs for the legs from your perspective? Just go from the high to the low, and for me, it needs to be at least a 38.2 retracement. All right. Okay. Perfect. Give me a second here. Let me try to catch up. Good. Yeah. Let's see. How's it going, Mike? I'll tell you the best. So people that are having trouble finding schematics, you just got to, I'll tell you right now, and I know I've said it, I've got over 5,000 charts that I did in over a year, right? In just under a year, I back tested and I marked up about 5,000 charts. And it's got to train your eye, muscle memory. Anything you do, if you played sports, you don't just pick up a baseball and start throwing fastballs, right? You got to work on it. You got to train your eye. That's the one thing I will definitely tell you guys is do that. When pairs are approaching supply demand zones on higher time frame, do you wait for the break of the entire leg before attempting to hedge counter trend? No, I don't wait for the break of the leg. if we're coming into like and I'll give you a hint, like, so if you go to look at NZD USD traded into a weekly and daily supply zone. It printed a distribution in there. So of course, yeah, I took the distro off that because it's in a valid point of interest where I would expect a distribution to happen. All right. Okay. So we talked about UJ. I'm looking at it from that 4 minute, the limit set. I'm going to take it off of that if we get up there. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take it off of there if we get up there. Okay. And that's the schematic. I mean, it's pretty clean. Definitely if what would invalidate this, I'll tell you right now, what would invalidate this is where I would at least close my pending order is if we could just continue to sell off and we don't come back during London session. All right. So if we don't come back during London session, I would definitely just cancel it out. Okay. But this is, I'll throw it in the chat. All right. I'll throw it in the chat. Definitely I would really, look at marking it up on your chart, but because you're only going to get better at it. Can you show your fib placement? What do you mean? To like measure the legs, or do I consider quarter theory? I'll tell you this. So I do not, well, okay. I do consider quarter theory in my take profits. I don't for entries. Entries, I'm going off a precise candle or price action. Okay. But I will, a great example, like UCAD, I took it instead of 126,200, I took it at instead of 1.26200, I took it at 1.2600 flat. Nice whole number. So take profits for me are going to be whole numbers or equal highs and equal lows. I like the 20s, the 50s, the 80 levels. Okay. Yeah, perfect. We'll look at these. UJ. Oh, that's mine. Yeah, hold on. And G Chef. All right, we'll look at G Chef too. If it looks like what GA is doing, so I think that's going to be pretty good. All right. Let's look at NJ real quick. So NJ is something I'm looking at, right? So from a higher time frame, just look at a 4 hour. NJ, very, very bullish, right? We're very, very bullish on it. Best resource to study Wyckoff. So if you are in IM, I would recommend you tuning into Zach McDonald's Go Live sessions. He was one of the mentors that taught me Wyckoff. And I would say I pretty much have a good handle on it. From there, I would definitely get into the books that I recommended. And if you are in the big Discord, if somebody could drop Sam's Discord channel in there so that you guys can jump in. All right. Which is the reason for sometimes you wait to distro in smaller time frames, sometimes you don't wait for it. Just what happened previously, right? UCAD, there was, on that UCAD trade, there was no reason for me to wait for the distro because I only had that one point of interest. It was that 1 hour candle with the five minute inside of it. The current UCAD setup, I just have way too many points of interest. Okay. Thanks, Patrick. All right. Sounds good, David. Have a good one, man. You know it, bro. You know it. Absolutely. All right. So, perfect. Okay. Give me a second here. Perfect. Okay. All right. So let's look at NJ, right? NJ, we are bullish as can be, right? I mean, we are due for a retracement, but we're just continuing to go bullish. The one thing I'm looking at though is how we reacted. And let me just go to a 30 minute, right? So NJ here did have a distribution, a valid distribution. You can see that this is going to be my area of supply that I'm going to be waiting on. Okay. I do want to see this area of supply get traded into. But I'm bullish, right? So if I'm bullish on this thing, then I've got to be looking for buys. And if price is going to give a failed distribution, remember a reaccumulation will always start as a distribution. Everything in here is a distribution. But you'll notice that they're not distributing out of anything, right? There is nothing to distribute. The distribution would have probably happened up here, okay? So what I'm personally looking at is if price, and you can see it's already kind of giving the agenda. We're potentially going to be doing this, a UTAD, or I'm sorry, an up thrust, a UTAD into this 1 hour point of interest, break of structure and come down. All right. If that's the case, I will take the sell off of this area, but I'm more interested in this reaccumulation that happened here. We had our creek, price broke structure, jumped our creek. So I'm looking into this 30-minute candle right here, specifically 50% of the 30-minute candle. All right. The reason I'm looking at 50% of the 30-minute candle is because it's also 50% of the 15-minute candle. And it's also the open of the 10-minute candle right here. Okay. So we have that imbalance sitting in there. I really like it. Off 50%, it's only a 6.5 pip stop loss. So I'd be looking at that. Okay. And just if price does not tap into this area here and we come straight down, my first area that I'd be looking for take partials and potentially a hedge will be here. And you can see this is an 11-1. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Okay. So if you have one POI, you snipe when you have more two, or you wait for a distro. Yeah. Like I wait for, if this is it, right? If price breaks this and, obviously if it breaks this, we're going down. Okay. This is what's maintaining bullishness right now. And if I can justify the entry, right? So if I can, for me, 6 pips, I don't have to think about it. I'll set a limit. I can do it, right? But if this was say 14 pips, I would need to wait for for the accumulation in here. I'd need to wait for price to compress, give me an accumulation, right? And then we go up from it. All right. But because this is a tight stop, I don't have to worry about it. Like the first UCAT entry, then I'm good. All right. I have a limit on NJ. Yes, I have a limit on NJ. And like I said, the only thing that'll invalidate this entry, well, I wouldn't even say it would invalidate it. I would just say that I would pay attention to the price action that's happening up here, because if we do distro into this point of interest right here, I would potentially, if I'm up for it, I would potentially get into the sell. Okay. So, and you can see, draw it out yourself, but you can see already we got a trading range. Wait for either we're going to have a type 1 or type 2. If we get the type 2, that's the entry right here, and boom, come down, possibly work a hedge in here. Okay. The reason I'd be looking for the sell is because if you go on NJ on the weekly time frame, you're going to know that that distribution over here to the left came into a weekly candle. Okay. Perfect. All right. So that's what I got in NJ, UJ, and UCAD. Let's talk about, somebody asked about AU. I'll be honest, like the only thing I'm looking on AU is a higher time frame distro, and it's nowhere close. But we'll take a look at it in a sec. So CADJ, I know a bunch of guys were in this buy on CADJ. Good catch, good snag. At this point, I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens. All right. From a leg perspective, right? From a leg perspective on CADJ, obviously I was looking down here. Okay. Because from a leg perspective, you can see, right? Leg, we made a new high over here. So leg. So I wanted to see us pull back. I really wanted to see us pull back in here. And the reason, this is an example why this is the point of interest, because this is the candle that created this break of structure and ultimately created this break of structure. Everything started from this point here. Okay. So that's why I wanted to see that happen. It could still happen, right? Because if price does not exceed up here, then I'm still waiting for price to come down here, and I'd be waiting for a schematic, simply because this would be like a 15 pip stop. And I normally, all of these orders in here and orders in here, I was able to catch on a 1.5 pip stop loss. Okay. Yeah. There's no break of structure or no new high on the line chart. So if you go into the line chart, you're going to see that we never made a new high here. Right. So for me, this is still the peak of the leg. And this is what I'm looking at right here. All right. So that's why I didn't take that trade. I'm going to wait. At this point, price needs to do one of two things. It either needs to make a new high, and then I know for sure I'm going to be waiting for something in here to go higher, or I need it to not make the new high and trade down. This is 50% of our daily candle, and we have an H4 candle here. All right. This is what's maintaining bullishness right now, right here. So I'd be waiting for a schematic inside of this H4. Okay. Yeah. What about EU for sells? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have EU right now on my radar. I mean, I'll look at it, but we tried buying it. I need to wait for something to happen first. We'll go over that. Okay. But yeah, so CAD at this point, I'm just waiting, right? It's in my watch list. I'm just waiting to see what happens. EG, nothing's changed since Sunday. I need to see us trade back up into this H4 up here. So I'm really not looking at anything until we get up here on this. Can you have a look at AJ? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think I saw your chart on Zach's thing. We'll look at it. Yeah. I'll be honest. I think I'm waiting lower in that lower area. All right. So on EU, just to give you an idea, right? Like we don't need to go too crazy in it. We're bullish on all the higher time frames. Okay. So if we look at it let's just look at it from a 4-hour, right? I really wanted us to trade down into this daily here. Okay. But from a 4-hour perspective, we did break below this low here. Okay. So on the 4-hour, we are bearish. However, look at what's happening here. Okay. We've got bullish order flow going. This is the key. And I was doing some training earlier with some people. This is the key right here. If price can break above this, I think we're going higher. Okay. So I know a couple of us attempted to take a buy off some reaccumulation up here and got clapped on it. So no big deal. It is what it is. Took a small loss on it. But I'm personally not looking at anything until we take this high right here. So, we're either going to come all the way down to that daily where I want to buy from, or we're going to take this high. And if we take this high, then I'll get into like an order flow structure entry. Okay. Let's talk about GA though, because GA's been, I don't know if you guys have been following GA with me, but I'm still holding 2 positions right from down here. All right. They're up about 280 pips on it right now. Definitely if you want to look at Wyckoff, recommend you go back in here. There was 15-minute schematic, another 15-minute schematic. In here was a 1-minute schematic. There was another schematic in here. There was a 1-minute schematic in here inside of a 15-minute schematic. Another schematic in here. And we'll talk about this schematic now. But if you really want to back test some schematics, get in there. Look at that price action there, because dude, I was like, talk about like some emotional trading when we finally, and you could tell when price went to bullish order flow. I mean, like I snagged the crap out of both of these entries right here, and it was phenomenal. There were some awesome entries. Okay. But, look at it from a 4-hour. Actually, you know what? Let's do it from a daily, right? And I know I've talked about this before, but what are we doing? Well, we're trading into a daily candle, right? But we're also in a daily accumulation. All right. So yeah, I've got an H4 up here as a target, but potentially we could trade all the way to the top of the trading range and then ultimately come down and create a spring, break a structure to take this higher if we're going to go higher, or it can turn into a redistribution, right? All right. So, in order for it to be a redistribution, we first have to have the accumulation part of it. From a 4-hour perspective, right? What are we seeing? We have price that, and this is what I wanted to see, price is breaking out and ultimately traded above this 4-hour candle. Okay. So I wanted to see if we can get above that, because if we can get above this price action in here, that's going to really give us the momentum to get up to this H4 that I wanted to get into. All right. And from a leg perspective, right, what are we doing? So, right, we're just making our legs. We're working our way up. So for right now, this is what's maintaining bullishness on the order flow side. Okay. On the order flow side. Overall, structure wise, we're still bearish. Okay. What I'm looking at though, is I'm looking at this last area of demand right in here. This 30-minute candle specifically, I want to see us, and you can see that we're potentially in a distribution going on. I'd like to see that distribution trade down so that we can find a schematic in here to go up. Right. And all you got to do is, again, you can go back into this price action over here and just go down to, here, we'll even go to a 5-minute. So you can go down to the 5-minute and you can see it, What did this schematic accumulate out of? 50% of this 5-minute candle. The spring hit it on the dot. Okay. So that's ultimately what it did. All right. That's ultimately what it did. But you can see the schematic clean as day. This is a very clean schematic. All right. Ultimately we got our 1, 2, 3, 4, a fifth drive was the spring. Spring broke structure, came back and mitigated. And one thing, another little pointer I'll give you guys is if you're missing entries because you're trying to go off of the extreme candle, when you are looking to take an entry off of the spring, look at what move happened, right? Especially those of you that trade smart money. Okay. Where did the institution start to sell from, right? It wasn't from this candle. It was from these candles. Okay. So what you want to do, right? And I don't know what time frame it is. We'll find it though. What you want to do is you want to find the candle that is a full candle there. So whether it's the 15, no, 15 doesn't look like it. Let's go to the 20. There's the 20 minute. So it was the 20 minute. And I guarantee you that's going to be 50% of the 20 minute. There it is. 50% of that 20 minute. All right. So I would definitely recommend you guys start back testing that 50%, because I'll tell you that 50% is golden for me. All right. Just find the candle that took it. We can ultimately say that this is where institutions sold down, right? To grab liquidity, to then come up and mitigate out of their position. All right. But anyway, so this is a valid area, right? This is a valid area. And we understand that this is the last point of mitigation because we mitigated this candle. So now we have this area that needs to be mitigated. So this is where I'm going to be looking for price to come back into. All right. Again, the reason why I'm not going to take a limit order off of this, because on GA, that's just a ridiculous stop loss. I mean, even if I took 50%, I mean, we're still talking 6 pips. And with my spread of like 2 pips, I'm talking 8. So I really want to see if we can get a schematic. If not, I think how I'll trade this is as we come down into it on the first like 1 minute break of structure, I'll try to take an entry off of a mitigation play. Okay. But yeah, but that's where I'm looking. All right. This 30-minute candle, this is an area of demand. Okay. Why don't you use the wicks to measure the 50%? Because the wicks aren't the candle volume. I want the orders. All right. So I don't need a fancy volume indicator or a volume profile to tell me, just the candle bodies are telling you where the orders are sitting. You think you had a spring on UCAD, now going up. Fantastic. Let it bring it up. All right. I'll look at it. If my alert goes off, I'll look at it. But I mean, that's ultimately how I trade. I have my alert set. If I don't see if the alerts don't go off, I don't trade it. So you take 50% of the body of the candle that engulfed the institutional candle. 50% of the body of the candle that engulfed. No, I take it off the institutional candle. It's not so much that gets engulfed. It's the one that has the volume of the candle that completes its mission, right? That spring candle has a mission to do. And if it accomplishes it, that's the one I go off of. All right. So that's GA. That's what I'm looking at. GJ, GU, I got nothing on right now. But let's talk about this NZD CAD. So NZD CAD last week gave 3 fantastic positions. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about NZD CAD. So NZD CAD is bullish as bullish can be, right? This thing has been going on forever and ever and ever. Okay. From a weekly perspective, what are we? Well, we're in a flipping schematic, right? So we're in a weekly schematic all day long. Whatever buys need to be coming up to here, 95.20 area, because that's going to complete the schematic for us. All right. So we've got a ways to get up there. Fast forward to the 4-hour, right? Do I use any indicators in my analysis? No, I don't use indicators. The only thing I will do sometimes is use an RSI, simply just to find divergence that I can, ultimately see that a change is coming, and it's just using relative strength. And then I can use comparative analysis, correlating pairs like NCAD and ACAD. If they're diverging, I know which one to trade off of. Okay, but let's go back to last week, and I know I talked about it last Sunday and I talked about it last Tuesday. We had multiple buys out of 50% of the bunch of schematics in here. Okay. And what happened? We got a break of structure right here. This is the candle that created that break of structure. This is point of interest number 1. We had a point of interest number 2 down here. Okay. This is our leg, right? This is our leg. Price needed to pull back. So what I wanted to see was I wanted to see us trade into how we traded into this 4-hour. You can see that that 4-hour, we tapped exactly into the 4-hour open. The 4-hour open is also the daily open. Okay. It's also the daily open. So fast forward to what happens at NZD CAD, and how do we come in? Well, we come in beautifully compressed, showing us a schematic. We confirm the type 2 schematic as price exits the trading range and breaks structure. However, when price does come down into that 4-hour, that's where we got to reach down and start looking for some lower time frame entries, because that is a very powerful, right? Very powerful point of interest. Come in, and here's our 1-minute schematic that taps our 4-hour open and our daily open. Okay. So this entry was a 3.9 pip stop. You can see I'll delete this. You can see really nice trading range established. We do get the spring, right? Again, it's not this candle. You got to find the candle that institutions are putting the volume in. It's not the 2-minute candle. It's not the 3-minute candle, right? It's that 4-minute candle. So the 4-minute candle, I took 50% of the candle body, and you can see, bam, is my entry right there. Okay. That's the entry. You can see the order sitting at a 1 to 70 right now. Can I look at US 30, please? Yeah, I'll look at it, but it's in distro. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Is break and retest still in the back of your head? It's not. I mean, if you think about it, what is break and retest? Well, break and retest is the spring. We break structure, come back and mitigate out of it, and then ultimately the LPS entries, break and retest out of a zone, so they work. That's my dog. They work. You just got to know what phase you are in the schematic for it to work. Okay. All right. So now, obviously this was a really clean entry. My standard, we make a new high, I go to break even. All right. Yep. Jump a zone and retest. Yeah. The only thing is you just got to know where you are in the schematic, right? So that's all Wyckoff is, our retail concepts. You just have to know what phase of the market and cycle of the market you're in. Okay. So we took that entry. We actually took 3 entries, right? So that was the first entry there. The second entry that we grabbed, and again, going back and back test these, right? Go back and back test these. They were phenomenal. So that first entry down here was New York session. The second entry we took right here was just an order flow structure entry. It was off this 5-minute candle. All right. And it was during Asian session. So you can see once we broke above this price action here on that, where we were looking was stop just below this low. Price did break above, and this 5-minute candle is what we were looking at. So we took this entry right here off the 5-minute. And the next entry that we took, valid accumulation on UCAD. No, that's not valid. I'll tell you why it's not valid here. Hold on. So the reason this isn't valid is, okay, so in order to have an SC and an AR, you need a change of character. Okay. This is not the change of character. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe you're on the 3-minute. I mean, maybe this would be the change of character on the maybe a higher time frame. But look at all of this. This is really, to me, this is telling me that nobody cares about buying or selling. And this is just probably like a little manipulated move to come down. But I'm not interested in a buy whatsoever on this. And this, let me ask you, like, it's a sign of strength. Okay. I can't tell you how many pips a sign of strength has to go, but I can tell you that, would you clarify that, or would you validate it as a sign of strength, right? The word strength means like extremely strong. That to me is like a pop-up, that's like a turkey baster when the turkey's done. It pops up and it's done. To me, that's not, this isn't, a sign of strength. But yeah, you want to make sure that you're getting a change of character. And this right here isn't the change of character. Not only that, but it's just, I mean, look at this. Nothing tests demand. Nothing comes back to test down. And this is just, well, I mean, I don't know if this is Eastern time, but if this is Eastern time, it makes sense because all the volume's out. There's really no interest. Okay. Which bank do you work for, bro? Bro, let me tell you, man, the struggle is real. I think, dude, there's some entries that I miss out on because I think the banks are after me, man. Okay, so let's get back to NZD CAD, man. And if you guys are in that the Discord group, I mean, you know that I was jumping all over this. So we caught this bad boy, and then we caught our next entry came in right here at this schematic, right? So this was okay. So here's an example, right? Just like we were talking about UCAD. Can you see the difference between this selling climax to this automatic rally? Do you see how it is a change of character? Ultimately, it's not a break of structure, but it's a change of character, right? We get a momentum shift, all right? And that's what we want to see. So this entry for me was off of this 5-minute candle. And the reason I couldn't take, this is the test. I didn't take the test because yes, we had a low and we had a new low, and this was the break of structure. Like I really didn't feel comfortable taking that entry. Once price broke above here is where I took it off the 5-minute and obviously took it up. Okay. And then, it really sucks because we were looking at this reaccumulation right in here. We were looking at this reaccumulation that happened right here. We had a fantastic setup on it, right? Here's the creek. We jumped the creek. This is a sign of strength, by the way. Okay. That is your sign of strength. Okay. No doubt about it. So what we're looking at is we're looking at price to come into this 5-minute candle. All right. And that's where we wanted to play off of. And ultimately you could see on Friday when we were trying to catch this move, price just had a different idea. They didn't want to get us filled. So this is where the order comes into. Come on. Boom. That's where the order came into. So we missed the order off the 5-minute open by, I think it was 2 pips. Yeah, 2 pips. We missed it by 2 pips. And then, of course, it just rallied from there. Okay. It just rallied from there all the way up. So it is what it is. I took partials. Off of this area of supply. This was a distribution area. So took partials from there. And, now I'm still holding the 3 positions we have. What are my targets? Well, if we look at it from a 4-hour, right? If we look at it from a 4-hour, my targets are a new H4 high, right? A new H4 high. So that's where I'm looking to take it. Okay. And all 3 orders will be over a 1-70 when we get there. We're about 3/4 of the way there. Okay. So now what's next for NZD CAD? Okay. Well, for me, what I want to see next is that last point where we clearly have a demand zone right here, because it is an accumulation, right? This is an accumulation. We have our 1 drive, right? Our 2 drives, our 3 drives. This was our trading range, right? Our SC, our ST, our ST, a AR, a UA. We broke structure, exited the trading range, makes this the STB. We now need to come back and test out of here. Okay. So 15-minute candle, I'm looking 50% of it. There's a 5-minute imbalance inside of that, right? Gives me a little validation that price for a reason for price to come back into that. UA, up thrust action. Yep. There you go. Thanks, Patrick. Up thrust action. Do you have experience in the military? Yeah, I do. I was in the military for 8 years. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be looking for an accumulation here. And the reason I'm looking for an accumulation here is because I'm looking for price to give me a pullback of close to 90 pips, right? 80 pips. I want to see, because I want to get a really nice entry on this. And, what if it doesn't accumulate? Well, we just went through one big accumulation, a small one, another small one, another small one. We've got accumulations all over the place here. I want price to accumulate. All right. And if not, then it's no big deal. You know, I'll attempt to take an entry as price compresses. If we get the break of structure, I'll take an entry off that mitigation play. Okay. But this 15-minute is where I'm looking, and targets H4 high, right? The area that I was looking that price would possibly give us a pullback out of this supply zone, we just shredded right through it, right? We gave a little bounce and then we just plowed right through it. So I am looking something in here, schematic, go higher to the H4. That's where I'm looking. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So that's NZD CAD. NU, what the heck did I have on NU? I don't know if I have anything on NU yet. I think this was, okay. Yeah. So on NU, I got my alert set up here, and I want to take this lower, and you could just see like, so, and if this just means I need a schematic, right? I'm looking at this H4. I got my alert sitting right here. If we get a schematic, and the reason, right, is because this was the candle, the slingshot candle that caused the first break of structure, right? If we go to the line chart, this was the cause of breaking that right there. Okay. So I want to see what we do in here. Okay. Was there any specific person you learned market structure from? Yeah. So I had two different mentors. If you are an IM, again, Zach McDonald was the one that I really learned it from. And then I had another mentor that really taught it to me and changed the way I saw things. Okay. Do you always take, no, I don't always take 50%. Let me pose it to you this way. Okay. If this is the candle we're going to play off of, and this candle is 3 pips, right? I'm always going to take it off the entry of the candle as opposed to 50%. And the reason is, if I'm correct in my bias, right? If I'm 100% correct, and I know that price will come off of this candle to go higher, right? I can tell you that 100% of the time, okay, price will come into the open of the candle. I can't tell you how many times it'll come into the 50, but I can guarantee you, if I'm right, it is going to come into the open. Okay. I guarantee you. Okay. So, yeah, no, you know what? Zach owes me like a dinner. He owes me something, bro. The amount of plugs I put for him, dude. All right. I love it, man. I love it. Dude, I'll tell you, I've learned a lot from Zach McDonald. So, all right. So that's NU. We'll get to the indices here in a second, and then I'll get to the other thing. I know AJ, we want to talk about. So, U-Chef, I know I was looking at U-Chef earlier, man, but damn, U-Chef is just one ugly, ugly pair right now. It was, let's see, it was a distro, just a very ugly distribution, man. So like I would look at the 15. So I'm looking at this 15-minute candle. But like I said, this is ugly. I honestly, if I had the choice between UJ and this, UJ it is. If I had the choice between UCAT and this, UCAT it is. I mean, this is just a very ugly distribution, and I don't like ugly. So that's why it's at the very bottom of my list. Okay. You know, and that's all I'm going to say. All right. Let's see. Okay, US 30. I honestly don't have anything on S&P, but I'll tell you about US 30. This is the distribution I'm looking off of. All right. If you guys saw any of my Instagram stuff, I caught the sell from here. We caught the buy from here. This was a really clean distribution. I mean, super clean right in here. You could just see, I mean, I've got it marked out already, right? Buying climax, secondary test, up thrust, UTAD broke structure. We ultimately come back into the 5-minute candle. Here, I'll go to the 5-minute candle. Hold on. Yeah, we ultimately come back right into this 5-minute candle. Let me clear this out. There we go. We come right into the 5-minute candle, come into this 5-minute candle, and then I was looking at this for a third entry, it just never came back. So for me, this is a clear supply point. It's also the last point that needs mitigation. All right. So I am looking at U30 for this sell from here. But you can see I want a distribution schematic on it. All right. We are from a 4-hour point of view. If you look at the 4-hour, I don't have it marked out, but you should be able to see the distro. Okay. We have our trading range clearly defined, buying climax, right? Automatic rally, secondary test, minor sign of weakness, our up thrust. Okay. And depending on what time frame you're looking at, this did break out of our trading range and break structure, right? So at this point, I'd be looking for a type 2 schematic. All right. I'm not expecting a UTAD. So I'd like for price to come up, and boy, oh boy, would I love it to come into here to make the new low. Okay. So that's how I'm seeing it. All right. Did the bounce back courses help me? They did. You know what? Because like I had no idea about smart money before I took them. So they did give me, AU from Zach Session probably missed entry, or will you look for re-entry? Yeah, I'm not looking at AU for an entry at all. I mean, I don't remember what Zach was looking on it. But for me, AU, I'm looking for higher time frame stuff. Smart money. I've been trading 2.5 years. I've been doing smart money for 2 years. Night, my love. I've been doing smart money for like 2 years. Okay. Yeah, let's get into the secondary orders here. But yeah, US 30, that's where I'm looking for tomorrow's sells. Okay. AJ, I'll look at AJ real quick. So AJ, this is what I got on AJ, right? I know. I do some mentoring. Yeah. Just hit me up on IG and I'll see if I got some more time or slots for it. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm looking at on AJ. All right. I'm bullish on it. I'll tell you that. Okay. What I really would like is for AJ to come into my 4-hour. Okay. Simply because we are right now dealing with internal structure. Okay. This is the leg right here. We haven't made a new high. Okay. Night, bud. I love you, man. So I want to see us either do one of two things. Okay. We either need to make a new high, or we need to come down and trade into this. Okay. I know you were looking at this accumulation, and you know what? Let me dive into it, because give me a sec. Let's look at that accumulation, bro. What's Patrick got? What you got, homie? Oh, geez, bro. Don't be throwing my IG everywhere, bro. Come on. You gotta, let's see. Okay. You're looking at NU. He said any, which one of the, yeah. Any of the Richard Wyckoff books that Jesse Livermore did. He did 3. All 3 of them are fantastic. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. It's the futures. I use it to help me out quality status, but it's the identification of the parameters. Okay. Yeah, bro. I don't know that. Okay. So let's look at this accumulation in here. Hold on. Teach your kids and wife I'm teaching my son. He's 8. Yeah, I'm teaching him. He's got a demo account. He helps me when I do my journals and print them out. He organizes it for me and stuff like that. And yeah, he knows all about accumulation. So, all right. So this is all I'm going to say about this schematic right now. Let's look at it. Okay. Is this the change of character? For me, no. Right. So this would be my PS. This would be my change of character. Okay. So this would be my SC. This would be my AR. Okay. This isn't a secondary test for me, right? Because it doesn't test demand. Okay. It doesn't really do anything. And then this would have been my secondary test. I would possibly say this as another secondary test, because hold on, let's see if it goes to 50%. Yeah. Okay. So this does trade to 50%. So then when price exits the trading range and breaks structure, this now confirms this as a secondary test in B. So this is a confirmed type 2. Okay. Confirmed type 2. So I think you were looking off of that, right? You were looking at an entry off of here. Okay. So now it's just a matter of what are they going to play off of? So let's see. So we know, give me a sec. All right, let me look at 1 hour, 2 hour. That's the 2 hour. Where did the 2 hour go after that? Did it ever come back? No. Okay. So this is the last down candle. So this is the 2 hour open. Let's just see this. 2 hour open, 50% of it. Where's the 4 hour play into that? No, it's a wick. All right. So let's go to the 30 minute. 30 minute is the 50% of the 2 hour, 50% of the 30 minute. Damn near close. Okay. So we're starting to get confluence here, right? 50% of the 2 hours, also 50% of the 30 minute. We got imbalance inside of this 15. So if price comes to that 50%, the reason would be to fill that imbalance. All right. Let's go to, you know what? Let me go to the 25. So 25 minute, same imbalance. Okay, let's go to the 20. 20 minutes, same imbalance. Let's go to the 15, same imbalance. Let's go to the 5. So the 5, we've got the same imbalance. Okay, so now this is where we start refining it. So I'm not interested about this stuff here, right? Because what I'm looking at is what was the cause of our break of structure, right? Because we made a new low. So the cause is going to be ultimately this candle in here. So we got to find what the heck in that candle do we want to play off of. So let's go to the 6 minute. 6 minute, no, I don't like that. Let's go to the 5 minute. So we have a 5 minute right here. Okay, 5 minute right there. Let's see the 4 minute. 4 minute, I do not like, but we still have that imbalance there, which is something I like. The 3 minute, now we have imbalance inside of this 3 minute. Let's see the 2 minute. So 2 minute, no, but you could still see the imbalance. So we know for sure if we're going to take a trade off of this area, it's got to be, the reason is going to be mitigating this. Okay. So now off the 1 minute, we have this candle right here. I'm just curious. So that would be 50% of that. How many pips would this be? So 5.4. So if I were going to take a trade on this and everything lined up the way I like to see it, this is 50%. Let me just see. So this is 50% of the 1 minute, which is just above the 5 minute. That's the 2 minute. I don't like that 2 minute. 3 minute was garbage. 4 minute was garbage, but we did have a 5 minute. So is this the 5 minute you were looking at? Is that what you were looking at, the 5 minute? Yep. All right. That's what I'd be playing off of. That is what I would be playing off of. Yep. So yeah, that's what I'd be playing off of. Let me just gonna move my alert up here. But yeah, I'd be playing off of that. Now let's see. Let me see what the higher time frame is real quick. I just want to see. So I'll tell you what would make me happier to get into this trade, right? What would make me happier is this, if we can take out this leg, right? Because now, walking itself down internally, we were bearish. So if price can do this, then I definitely would be setting a limit. I would definitely be setting a limit. Okay. Do I put my stop at the wick? Yeah, I put my stop at the wick. We failed to create the new lower low on the H1, started the break of structure to the left. Yeah. I understand that, but just think about it from a leg perspective, right? So from this perspective here, this is our leg, and none of this matters to me, right? None of that matters. Like, for all I care, price could do this, right? Price could do all of that. Okay. Doesn't matter one bit, because at the end of the day, we want to see price trade above here. This move here will now start giving us more internal structure, and we'd be looking at that, right? We'd be looking at that and order flow, right? Order flow would be bearish. I'm sorry, bullish. Order flow would be bullish. So now if we don't take this high, if we don't take that high, then I'm not going to be looking here. I would be either waiting for us to trade down in here, or I would just be waiting until eventually we'd make that high. Okay, that's how I look at that. So that's AJ. Here, let me look at this. So CAD Chef off of the 1 hour. Let me look at CAD Chef, man. I don't remember the last time I actually traded CAD Chef. Or sorry, Pound Chef. Right, it was Pound Chef, right? Pound Chef. Okay, so what do I have lined up here? Hold on. Maybe I do have something marked up on. Look at this. Man, when was the last time I did this? I'll tell you the last time I did it was probably in here. So this was the last time, November 9th. That was the last time I did anything. All right. So I was looking at this as a possible reaccumulation. Why was I looking at this as a reaccumulation? Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. The 10 minutes clean. Yeah. The 5 minute, the 10 minute. Yeah. Okay. Man, where are we? Hold on. Let's look at the weekly real quick. So, holy crap. Look at this thing. This thing is so flipping up there. What are we, is this literally all-time highs? No, this is all-time highs, is it? Let's go to monthly. Hold on. No. Okay. No, it's not. Oh, man. That's got some places to go. All right. So from a weekly perspective, this is what we're doing. Let's see. All right. So what are we on the weekly doing? We are, okay, I could see us coming down. All right. I got it. You know what? Hold on. Do I have any notes on this? Chef. There we go. Okay. So wait. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. So this is the last time I did this was December 7th. Monthly, weekly, daily, H4, bearish. All right. So let's see. I mean, I can see, I'll tell you this. I see why we need to go up because I want to see us trade into this, right? So, all right, we have that bias. Let's look at a 4 hour. What is going on here in the 4 hour? We are building bullish order flow. Did we take the high? Did we take? Okay, so that high still intact. And this is just the complex pullback supposedly so far. So that's the H4. Let's look at this H1. All right, so you're saying you like this because of this institutional grab. Let me just see. Let me. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's kind of how I do stuff. Yeah. What's a decisional? It's my slingshot candle. Yeah, all it is the candle that ultimately is a slingshot, right? So price is doing this, right? And if it comes back and creates that, this is your decisional, your slingshot candle, right? The candle that creates the breakup structure, creates the new high, new low. It's the slingshot, right? It'll pull back and then give you that slingshot. All right. So I label it the SC. All right. Okay. So all right, no. Let's go a lower time frame because this is looking like a reaccumulation. Let's just see. All right, an ugly reaccumulation, but a reaccumulation. What did this take? Okay, so this was a reaccumulation in here. This came and did it respect it? Let's see. Did it respect it or did it go below it? It did go below it. Okay. So no, the slingshot cannot be the extreme. You only have 2 points of interest. The extreme of the leg, right, which would be the extreme mitigation point, whatever the last mitigation point is required, and then the slingshot, which is typically, anywhere in the fib retracement area of like a 50% to 88.6. All right. Um, man, I honestly, I don't know why. Let me see. All right. So we're at the 15. Let's look at a 5 real quick. I just want to see if price. All right. So we had a reaccumulation. Price reaccumulated. An attempted reaccumulation that failed. Why did price come down here? So price came into that. Yeah. Like, I'll be 100%. I don't know whose chart this is. Like GA is so much cleaner. Yeah. I mean, could that be an institutional candle? I mean, let me see the 30-minute. Let me see the 45. Let me see the hour. Let me see the 2-hour. All right. So 2-hour. What the? All right. So I'm guessing all it, man. Yeah. I mean, if you're going off the 2-hour, it didn't make a high, right? So from a structure perspective, we did clear this high. So this to me is the decisional candle that broke the high, and this is the extreme. All right. For me, my rules are I don't take limit orders off of slingshot decisional candles. I need price to accumulate in them so I can take a buy. I will take an order, a limit order off the extreme. So that's how I would phrase or how I would word the potential of pound chef. Find it a candle in here. There's obviously, I'll tell you right now, just look at it. There's obviously an accumulation. We have 1, 2, 3 drives, right? Trading range, break of structure. So go in here. It was a type 2. Just by looking at it off this, go to a 15-minute, a 5-minute. It's a type 2 in there. Look for the candle that needs to be mitigated as like an LPS entry. That's where I would set my limit. If price trades in here, I would put maybe a alert at the 1 out at the open of the 2. And if you see on the 5, the 1, the 3, whatever, a schematic here, bam, take your entry on the test and go higher. Okay. What do I mean by the extreme? Just the extreme the unmitigated part, right? There's going to be a candle down here because this is the leg, right? We just made a new high. This is the leg. So the extreme is the extreme mitigation candle. Whatever needs to be mitigated at the bottom here, that's where price is going to come forward to do this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. That was that. Let's AU. Like I honestly, AU for me is like in a potential distribution, potential redistribution or distribution that can turn into a reaccumulation. Yeah. Like I personally don't see anything in here that I want to trade. Yeah, I personally don't see anything I want to trade. That's pretty much it. Like EJ, I got nothing on close. Chef J, I got nothing on close. Gold is just being stupid. I am still holding partials from way up here. So GJ. So GJ, I'm waiting still. GJ doesn't have. GJ for me, we made a new high. So I don't remember last week. Remember I said possibly the start of distribution, but we never got what? When we created the up thrust and we created a UTAD, we never got the break of structure, right? So no break of structure. That means that this bad boy right here gets deleted and it turns into a reaccumulation. All right. So this, come on, delete. There we go. I was looking into this H4 candle here. If we look at it like this, all right, this was ultimately our leg. Okay, that's our leg. So for me, this H4 is where I want to see. I got my alert sitting right here. That's where I want to see price come down to. Okay, now our slingshot candle is going to be in here. That's why I've got an alert sitting right here. Okay. If price accumulates in here, I'll take it higher. If price runs through it, I'm going to demand it to make a schematic here to go higher. Okay. And where I would be looking, I think it's a, what is it? Yeah, it's the 1 hour candle is my decisional, right? So this right here is my slingshot candle. So what I need to do is, I'll just move this up here. I need to wait for price to come down into this area, and I'll look for a schematic, okay? He said we're going to, and yeah, it's an extreme mitigation candle. How far do you go back on the charts to start your legs? I mean, it all depends. I mean, you should be able to see it pretty quickly. You know, you don't have to go too crazy. Like here, just a great example. If we go to GJ, right? What is our legs, right? So from here, our legs, you know that this came down. So this is the bottom of the leg. Here's the top, right? That's one leg. Okay. Price then does what? It attempts a distribution, right? This was the attempted distribution. This was our shakeout. All right. So yeah, we did get a break of structure. Absolutely. We did get a break of structure. All right. Price failed to make a new high or a new low. And then what did I wait for? I waited for price to break that structure. So this is the bottom of that leg. This is that leg right there. Okay. Ultimately, it ends up shifting over to here. So this is our leg. This is the bottom of our leg. We make this, and now we're here. Okay. That's our legs. All right. So yeah, when in doubt, go up 2 time frames, go up to the daily, you know, go up to the 12 hour, you know, you'll definitely get it. All right. You'll definitely start to see it more. Okay. From the leg perspective. Can you send charts in the Discord of the schematics you mentioned at the beginners should study and learn? You said to focus on 2 kinds, right? Yeah, like I'll tell you, just go to NZDCAD and go to UCAD, right? From last week. Just go and back test because the lower time frame is in there and you'll be able to look at it. Okay. At least one look UCAD made 4 hour line chart break. Jeez, Patrick, bro. Okay. Yes. Let's look at UCAD, bro. Jeez, bro. What are we? It broke H4. Let's see. It broke H4. What are we talking about? It broke what H4? What are we talking about? UCAD broke the H4. Made 4 hour line chart break. What? What are we talking about? All right. All right, Mike, do you have a template for all the schematics we can save? I actually, I don't have a template. Like what I did was, you can, I did have a template, but they kind of got dismantled when my computer broke, but, I can draw some out again. But here's the thing you want to do is don't focus up so much on the template because schematics can, what you want to focus in on is the trading range and what happens. Just focus on a type 1 and a type 2, right? What happens inside of those. All right. It was the 2. What are you talking? 2 hour? What are we talking about, Patrick, bro? A 2 hour break of what? What are we talking about? This? You talking about this? This is nothing. I could care less about this. This isn't structure to me. Yeah. That's not structure. I don't care about that. That's that's part of this over here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, this is great. Let it come up to me. I don't care. All right. Let me see. Yeah. Just go to price action from last week on NCAD. And if you're in the Discord, go into my trade ideas and you'll see I posted NCAD and I posted UCAD. So I posted the before and I'm pretty sure I posted the after. But if I didn't post the after, I definitely posted it on my IG because NCAD and UCAD were phenomenal trades. All right. Yeah, bro, Patrick, bro, get some sleep, man. It's all good. It'll come up to us, bro. It'll come up to us. All right. Was there anything else you guys wanted me to look at? Hold on. Did someone throw this in here? No, we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this. Was there any other pairs that we wanted to talk about? Because that's, I mean, that's pretty much all I'm looking at. Like I got a pretty lean, I've got a pretty lean primary list this week. But I don't need it to be too crazy. Like I said, I'm 3 positions deep on NCAD. I've got the 1 on UCAD. I've got 2 on GA that I'm still riding. Gold, Scott with his gold, man. All right, let's see. Hold on. What we got here. BTC on the 5-minute. Dude, I'll be honest, like I haven't traded crypto in a minute just because. Let's look at crypto. Hold on. Can you take a look at NAS 100? Yeah, I'll look at NAS next. Hey, Scott, the only thing bro, I'll be honest, like what gold is doing down in the bottom right now is ugly, man. Ugly. GU, just exactly what we did on GJ. They're correlating pairs. It's the exact same setup. Literally the exact same setup. Okay, so why are we buying? Here's my only thing, bro, right? We've got a 5-minute chart. What's the point of interest that they're buying off of? Because I could see the schematic in here, but what are they mitigating out of? It looks like right now order flow is bearish, right? Looks like order flow is bearish. What are they mitigating? Let's see. I should do a call on Thursdays, bro. My wife would kill me if I did a call on Thursdays on top of everything else I do. All right, let's see. All right, so I really don't like the fact, I'll tell you right now, I don't like the fact that we did this. We made this leg up here, and then we came and traded below it. I don't like that. That's the 1 hour. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute. What are they going for? Was it an imbalance? Oh, no, it was something in here. All right, so they came into this. They came into that. I'm looking at something like this for Bitcoin. Looking at it sell on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with the sell. It is bullish, but it needs that pullback. Man, but I haven't, I'll tell you the last time I marked anything up on Bitcoin was way down here. Just because I've been so hammered with everything else. All right. What did they play off of? Makes, yeah. Awesome. How do I define a leg? I'll be honest, when you define a leg, it's just think of the impulse and pullbacks, impulse and pullbacks. All right, so let me do it like this. From a 15-minute perspective, where's our change of character? Our change of character. Let me go to the 5, hold on. Awesome, thank you, man. The best way to identify reaccumulation and redistribution. I can answer that very easily. So a redistribution must start as an accumulation, and a reaccumulation must start as a distribution. So if we have a distribution, right? UT, UTAD. These are all LPSYs coming down. We have a creek. If price is in no man's land, not in a point of interest, that is check number 1 that you're probably going to get a reaccumulation. Or I'm sorry, yeah, reaccumulation. If price is not showing, if this is the AR and really not showing any signs of weaknesses until we get into here, chances are you're going to see this. You're going to see a jump of the creek and a break of structure. You're going to play this to go higher. And then just invert that. Let me see if it'll work. Hold on. Nope, I guess not. Oh, you know why? Because I'm doing it on Zoom. All right. And then on a accumulation. Right? We have our ice. This was the spring. Test of the spring. LPS. If we fall through the ice, break structure, boom, entry right here off the mitigation of whatever happened up here. Okay. So trade the accumulation or the distro, react to the reaccumulation, the redistro. Okay. That's what I would suggest. Can someone suggest to me sentiment tool? Do you use sentiment tools? A sentiment tool. I've never heard of a sentiment tool. I might learn something right now. Hold on. What is a sentiment tool? So, okay, hold on. Come on. What is this? How do I close out of this? Oh, come on. Give me a second. I'm caught on the Zoom. All right. So what is a sentiment tool? Okay, but is this IG client sentiment? Okay, so this is just for this broker, right? This is just for IG, right? Yeah. I don't care about what retail's doing. I don't care about what the brokers are doing. I care about what the institutions are doing. Yeah. It's just retail seller buy. You can do the same thing with FX, right? You can come over here to my FX book. You can go to it's community, and you can go to under community, it's Outlook. And you can see everyone that has a MyFX book account linked. It's going to tell you like here, USD CAD, right? The sells, buys, and shorts. I could care less. Actually, I'll tell you what, it may work in somebody's favor, because if 75% of retail is shorting GJ, just go ahead and buy by market, and I guarantee you might win it. Because statistically, retail traders are going to lose most of their profits, right? But yeah, no, I don't use any of that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do agree with this. I like to sell. I don't know about this buy though. Let me see how this schematic is printing out. Hold on. So on this, so we had an attempted accumulation here, but it failed. So now we redo it. All right. So selling climax, this is our trading range. All right. Selling climax, automatic rally here, secondary test, a UA, another secondary test, a spring. Right. Spring, break structure. This was the test. So here was your entry. This was your entry. And then, yeah, I mean, I would have agreed with this test entry. Who sent this to me? Was it, who sent it? Whoever sent the 5-minute. I don't remember who it was. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, okay, bro. Joe, here you go, man. Yeah, I would have taken, I don't know if this helped you. Did you see how I marked it up? So this is your change of character. Secondary test. This is actually, no, hold on. This is actually a secondary test. So this makes this a secondary test in B. Price, this is now because we had this low and this was the previous low, right? Let's look at the line chart real quick. Hold on. Just to verify that's the previous low. Yeah, okay. So here you go. And just to confirm, I saw it. I know this wick came down lower, but go off the line chart, right? If this is the previous low, this is structure. So we broke structure. So entry was probably, let me look at time frame. Let me just see what the 15 looked like. That 15, I don't know if I would have taken the 15 or if let me see what the 20 looks like. No, I would have taken maybe the 15 or let me see the 25. Nope, definitely not the 25. Third now. Yeah, so 15 is probably what I would have taken. 15, or if there's a 10-minute, let's see what the 10-minute looks like. No, 15. So I would have taken 50% of the 15 and I wouldn't have gotten filled because I would have missed. It would have missed by a hair. All right. Can you mark the schematic on the 15 time frame? This one? I mean, you can. Yeah, sure. It's the same thing. Right? If this is your change of character right here, this is your trading range. So this is your SC to your AR to your ST to your UA to your ST, Make a new low. This confirms this is STB. This is your spring, right? Here's your break of structure. This is your test of your spring. And ultimately, this would have been an LPS entry right here. So this is your sign of strength. So for me, the schematic is fulfilled. When you make your sign of strength, schematic's fulfilled. All right. Yeah. So that's how that worked. I don't know about taking another buy off of it. I mean, if it gave another schematic, I would, but I don't know about taking another buy off of it. Sorry to invite you. Can you define a leg? Define a leg. Yeah. It's just the impulse, right? So like, here, let's see if this has. So here's a great example, right? So we're talking about BTC, right? These are the legs right here. These are the legs. All right. So ultimately, this is what's maintaining bearishness right now. Actually, it's not even maintaining bearishness. Internal structure, it's maintaining bearishness. I'd have to look at the line chart to see if we actually did break structure, which I don't think we did. No, we didn't. So, because for me, we would have need to have broken below here for us to go bearish on it. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, hopefully that explains it for you. And I think that's it. I mean, that's all I was looking at. It's 9. We've been on here for 2 hours. Hopefully I answered some questions. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like all you got to do, just go to an empty chart like this and just draw it out, like you can just come here, draw it out, get your box, right? Make it an accumulation. Get your line charts, so that'd be, this is your trading range, right? And then get your arrows. And you just want to do this. So if price, so here's your first change of character, secondary test, a UA, secondary test, a spring break structure, test of the spring. All right. That's your type 1, right? That's your type 1. And you just label it. You come in here. So what quantifies a preliminary support? It's got to be a minimum of 38.2 retracement, right? So this is a 50%. We're good. It needs to be a 38.2 retracement. So come over here. This is a preliminary support. Change this to green. Change that over there. This is now your selling climax, right? This is your secondary test. This is your secondary test. We change it to a secondary test in phase B once we enter phase C, and we know we enter phase C because we get our spring, right? Get our spring, just like that. Come over, create our test after the BOS. This is LPS. And that's your LPS. And then you can come up here, make this your automatic rally. So this is a type 1. This is the easiest one to trade. This is the most fruitful because there's no questions about it, right? And then you can even come in here, and if you want, this is your first change of character, right? And this is your second. Okay. So that is for accumulation type 1. Okay. And then you just go from there. A type 2 is essentially the same thing, right? Except coming in, compression, change of character, secondary test, and we leave the trading range, right? No spring. We need to break structure and exit the trading range. So this becomes the STB. This is the LPS. And the whole reason why we get a type 2 is because the banks whatever institution is creating the schematic, they have enough orders to fill. Like they filled their orders. They don't need price to come down here and fill any more orders. All right. So, well, that's what we got. All righty. Hopefully that helped. Change of character. Do you find that by a deep retracement and startup consolidation? So the change of character is ultimately like if price is doing this, right? You can actually see where the first change in momentum happens, right? It doesn't need to break structure. I'll tell you that. It doesn't need to break structure. Okay. Yep. Trading is my full-time income. Yeah. I've been trading full-time since July 2019. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, the first change of character, this is your first change of character. This is your second, because this is where ultimately the changing of hands happen, right? The spring is a change of changing of hands from weak buyers to strong buyers, right? Retail traders to institutional traders, the fear. And then ultimately this is the order flow change, right? You could see bearish, 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 boom, we're off to the races, bullish we go. All right. So you pay attention to what's happening in this box. This box is going to tell you a lot. All righty. But with that being said, you guys, any last minute questions? Because if not, I'm going to hit the sack simply because it has been a long day. But I'll answer any last minute questions. Let me see what you guys got. Hold on. Awesome. Yeah. Definitely. I definitely do a lot on the Tuesday calls. I don't do as, a tremendous amount of teaching just simply because, man, it takes a lot. Like sometimes when I do some teaching calls, man, they're like 3-4 hours sometimes. All right. The recording will be up on my YouTube. Probably tonight sometime. Like as soon as this is done, it'll probably take an hour. And, once that's done, it'll be up there. So however long it'll be, if hopefully you have my YouTube page here. I'll tell you what, I'll just post this real quick. If you're not subscribing to the YouTube page, I drop some stuff in there from here and now, let's, there we go. So here is will this only be up for the 24 hours? No, I leave my stuff up there for a while. I start deleting them after a little bit, but yeah, they're up there. Okay. So that's my YouTube. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some info, stay the course, trust the process. The one thing I'll tell you is this, I mean, the time you put into this is ultimately, dictates the success you're going to see. And I could tell you that over the last year, I've dedicated a lot of hours, a lot of time into, finding what works, what doesn't, developing my trading plan, developing, my confirmations, what I need to see. Everybody's confirmations are different. My trading partner has a different confirmation than I do. I take different trades than he does, right? But we still trade the same strategy. Okay. So, yeah, I got you, man. But awesome. Yeah. With that being said, man, listen, I definitely appreciate everyone hopping on. Everybody, that couldn't jump on the Zoom and made it on YouTube. Hey, there's a bunch of you on there. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this as well, man. All right. I will see everybody later, man. Peace out.